against them. Joining us now, NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles has been tracking the bouncing ball for us. Ryan, let's begin with RFK, with Kennedy. Despite some skepticism from Republicans on the Senate committee, right, they all voted for him. What was their reasoning, and does it appear that he will pass a full Senate vote?
I'll answer your second question first. I think it's very likely that he wins the full confirmation of the United States Senate. It will likely be by a very narrow margin. He can afford to lose up to 3 Republican votes and still win confirmation. There may be 1 or 2 Republican senators that are willing to stand up to Donald Trump, but not many more. And that's because these Republican senators really worked to get to a place where they felt comfortable casting a yes vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In particular, Bill Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, who is a doctor himself, had real concerns about Kennedy's stance on vaccines, spent a lot of time talking to Kennedy, spent a lot of time talking to the White House and to the vice president, and finally got to a place where he feels as though enough guardrails are going to be in place that vaccines will not be in any danger if Kennedy becomes the next Health and Human Services Secretary, which is the reason that he voted yes, which opened the door to a full Senate vote in favor of Kennedy.
Okay, let's switch over to Tulsi Gabbard now. So one Republican senator who was on the fence over Gabbard received some pressure from Elon Musk to vote for her. Could we see opposition from any other Republicans, do you think?
So the answer is no. It looks as though most Republicans are on board, and Todd Young from Indiana, who's that senator you're talking about, told us just a few minutes ago that Elon Musk did not in any way, shape, or form attempt to influence his vote on Tulsi Gabbard. He went on to say that even the President of the United States, Donald Trump, told him that he should vote his conscience, but that he did want him to vote yes for Tulsi Gabbard. Young said that much like the conversation Cassidy had with Kennedy, that he just needed assurances. He got those assurances, and that's why he ended up voting yes. Kate?
All right, Ryan Nobles tracking that for us. Thank you, Ryan. Right now, crews are working to pull the remaining wreckage of that American Airlines jet from the Potomac River after it collided with a Black Hawk helicopter near Washington, D.C. last week. Federal investigators are analyzing black boxes from the crash, which could help reveal what caused the helicopter and the plane to collide. Now, investigators are revealing new details about the victims involved in another deadly plane crash, this one in Philadelphia. All of it is putting the safety of aviation in the spotlight. Here's NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello.
Against the backdrop of Reagan National Airport, the salvage crews are back to work battling gusty winds and pulling the wreckage of American Airlines 5342 from the Potomac River.
We transferred debris from the water to FBI here on the eastern shore.
Emerging from the water on Monday, the plane's right engine, fuselage, and right wing. Divers also recovered additional remains of victims who died in last week's mid-air collision with that Army helicopter.
It's tragic in everything imaginable that you can think of.
Newly released NTSB drone video shows boats surrounding a significant chunk of the jetliner, the chopper's wreckage resting in the water nearby. The investigation now focused on how the collision happened at roughly 325 feet, according to the plane's black box, well above the 200 feet maximum allowed for helicopters.
It's important for us to not speculate, because there are all kinds of reasons that you could deviate from an altitude.
For now, the airspace near the airport remains closed to all helicopters except police and medevac choppers. Captain Jason Ambrosi is the president of the Airline Pilots Union.
Everything adds risk to aviation. Taking a layer of risk out of it, taking the helicopters away, is a step in the right direction because it mitigates that risk.
Earlier in the day, the nation's new Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, visited the site of another deadly plane crash in northern Philadelphia, where a medical transport jet plunged to the ground shortly after takeoff, killing all 6 people on board the Learjet 55 and 1 in a car on the ground. Investigators say at least 24 were injured, including 2 in critical condition.
If you look at the impact and how deep that crater is, it was a very steep angle at which that aircraft came down.
Tom Costello reporting for us. Still to come, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting with President Trump ahead on